DC Comics has a long and fascinating history of superhero film adaptations, with many of them very much being watched again and still enjoyed. From its iconic franchises to the impending DC universe, superhero movies have dominated mainstream culture for more than 10 years. Although DC has not enjoyed the same degree of success as Marvel in its film adaptations, the current superhero blockbuster would not exist without the early DC films' critical and commercial achievements. DC has enjoyed tremendous success in movies from the late 1970s to the late 2000s, leaving a lasting impression on popular culture. Following the popularization of shared world narrative akin to comic books, Warner Bros. Set out to create their own DC cinematic universe in order to rival the MCU. 2 years later, with Man of Steel, DC created a shared world following an unsuccessful effort with Green Lantern in 2011. Even if the DC Universe franchise somewhat revived the DC Extended Universe, it nonetheless brought even more rewatchable superhero movies to DC's filmography. So here are some DC movies you can and should still watch again. We will talk about it in reverse order, from good to the best. Number 7. Wonder Woman 1984. The much-awaited follow-up to 2017's blockbuster Wonder Woman has the difficult challenge of completing one of DC Comics' best films, during a pandemic, no less. Sadly, the movie had a bad box office success since it was concurrently aired on HBO Max and HBO at a period when people were less inclined than ever to visit cinemas. The film received mixed reviews from critics due to its whimsical tone and contentious treatment of Steve Trevor's resurrection. Despite all of this, Wonder Woman 1984's positives outweigh its negative ones and make the movie highly rewatchable. Although Steve Trevor's method of return seems questionable, Chris Pine is still endearing as Steve Trevor, and Gal Gadot continues to be the definitive Wonder Woman actor. Wonder Woman 1984, one of the DCEU's most underappreciated entries, is filled with memorable, poignant moments and thrilling action sequences because to Patty Jenkins' superb filmmaking. Number 6. The Batman. Ben Affleck's departure from the Batman role in the DCEU following the theatrical release of Justice League meant that the planned Batman solo movie for the series was sadly scrapped. Despite this, Warner Bros. Decided to go ahead and create a Batman movie with a new actor and a separate timeline than the DCEU. A more grounded and realistic interpretation of the Batman legend, akin to Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, replaces the DCEU's comic-accurate representation in 2022's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson in the title character. The end product was a gloomy and dark thriller that, more than any previous live-action adaptation, highlighted Batman's investigative abilities. But even once the surprises are disclosed, fans of The Batman may just go back and rewatch it because of its neo-noir aesthetic, action sequences, and unadulterated passion. The Batman is one of DC's most rewatchable movies, thanks to everything from his amazing chemistry with Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman to his confrontations with the Riddler. Number 5. The Dark Knight. With its groundbreaking 2005 film Batman Begins, which retold Batman's famous origin with a sober and contemplative attitude, Christopher Nolan revolutionized Batman in his comic mythos. The Dark Knight maintained Christopher Nolan's comparatively realistic portrayal of Batman by matching a fully realized hero with the Joker, his greatest foe. The movie is an exceedingly rewatchable epic criminal thriller that has received well-deserved critical acclaim. One of Heath Ledger's last appearances as the Joker, whose spooky and mysterious portrayal is widely regarded as one of the character's greatest, can be seen in The Dark Knight. The film's eerie and intricate story explores the ethical boundaries of Batman's vigilantism as well as the terrible consequences that a criminal like the Joker would have on the people of Gotham and the police. While the entire Dark Knight trilogy is worth seeing again, The Dark Knight is perhaps the most deserving of frequent viewings. Number 4. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Justice League, which debuted in 2017 and was the first live-action movie to include DC's most well-known superhero team, was a letdown. Following the film's lackluster box office performance, negative reviews, and criticism from both critics and fans for the way the characters were handled, many people questioned if Zack Snyder's initial version of the movie would have been a better picture. The director's cut of the movie was published following vigorous campaigning by fans, who were finally joined by actors and directors of the DCEU. In the end, Zack Snyder's Justice League was a significant upgrade because of its directing, editing, and extra footage. For the most part, Zack Snyder's Justice League lived up to the anticipation, producing a superhero epic that satisfactorily resolved a number of the DCEU's character arcs and teasers. This makes the movie suitable for several viewings, along with its action sequences, poignant characterizations, and excellent lead chemistry. Fortunately, the film's duration of more than 4 hours is divided into chapters, which makes it simple to spread out across several watching sessions. Number 3. Man of Steel. The epic reimagining of Superman's famous origin tale, Man of Steel, marked the beginning of the DC Extended Universe. The movie is significantly less humorous than the Superman movies that audiences were used to at the time, even though it is not as depressing as its reputation would have you believe. In addition to highlighting Clark Kent's generosity and nobility as he accepts his Superman persona, Man of Steel also explores the loneliness and isolation of a young man who was constantly shunned and misinterpreted by his friends, in addition to being hated by humanity due to his extraordinary abilities. Similar to Batman Begins, the protagonist of Man of Steel progressively develops his superhero character in both the literal and emotional sense, presenting a tale that strongly draws on Superman's metaphorical status as an immigrant who aspires to respect both his new home and his history. Man of Steel is worth seeing again because of this and Henry Cavill's strong yet unquestionably human portrayal of Superman. Number 2. Aquaman. Restoring Aquaman's damaged reputation in popular culture was one of the most challenging jobs the DCEU had to do. After making his screen debut in a cameo in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice and appearing with Mark Wahlberg in Justice League, the stage was set for 2018's Aquaman, which aimed to showcase the character's commercial viability and promise. Fortunately, Momoa and director James Wan were able to restore public opinion of Aquaman without materially altering Aquaman's origin story or comic book persona. The rich history of the title character from DC Comics is explored in Aquaman, along with the paradoxical nature of a hero who feels both too human for Atlantis and too Atlantean for the outside world without a secret identity. With Momoa's endearing and comical portrayal of Aquaman, his intriguing persona, and the film's amazing world building, Aquaman is pure, epic, and enjoyable, deserving of several viewings. Unfortunately, it looks like Jason Momoa's days as the King of Atlantis are over, but his roles as Aquaman, especially his debut solo, will live on in our hearts. Number 1. Wonder Woman. One of the DCEU's most popular movies of 2017, Wonder Woman received almost unanimous praise from critics and did well at the box office. With Chris Pine as Steve Trevor and Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman is a genuine epic that spans millennia as Diana learns to accept her position as humanity's defender. It tells the tale of naivete turning into selflessness, but is temperated by the brutal reality of a morally reprehensible conflict. Wonder Woman is also a very personal account of Diana Prince's coming to know people and her love affair with Steve Trevor. Wonder Woman, which debuted in 2017 and is still going strong 7 years later, is the embodiment of everything that makes superhero movies great. She does this by fusing comic book realism with outstanding acting and directing. Wonder Woman is one of DC's most rewatchable films of all time because of its captivating soundtrack, jaw-dropping action scenes, and poignant, calmer moments of character growth and drama. Gal Gadot's time as Wonder Woman in the DC Universe appears to be coming to an end, which is unfortunate, but her first solo film cemented her as the ultimate Wonder Woman. Hope you liked the video. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.